he's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So New York in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting a weird Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped you all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go? Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin, further down Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's just touched up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment.
So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Hello everybody and welcome to the JPB YouTube channel as we wish a final farewell to the Mustang here in the Production Car Challenge. It is the Virginia International Raceway and it is week 12 here, or the final week I should say, of the iRacing season, and the very final time the Mustang will be taking part in this series. And we thought here at JPB, why don't we give it a bit of a broadcast, have a bit of a giggle, and we'll enjoy the Mustang one final time. Myself, Ian O'Leary and James Parfitt with you here for the evening. We are looking forward to this, James. It's a bittersweet evening, I expect, for most, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they go around VIR first of all, but most of all looking forward to everyone giving this car a send-off here for the very final time in the Production Car Challenge before it's replaced next season with the outgoing BMW M4 GT4.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with this car. You know, it's been around iRacing now, where are we, nearly 14 years. It came out 2010. And I think at the end of the day, it's got a lot of love. I've tried driving it. It's not the most easiest car to drive, but then again, it probably could be the fact that I probably just suck at driving, to be blatantly honest. But it's not the most easiest car to drive, but it has always been around in the, the Production Car Cup. On the upside, it is getting the Mustang Series next season. So I suppose from that part, it is getting its own series. But I think it's just a car that represents everybody that's probably first joined iRacing. Most of them have probably got this car since 2010. Most of them probably own the car and have driven the car and fall in love with the car. And I think to get it on its final one, this is literally the final race of this season ever that we're going to see the Mustang in the Production Car Cup. And we got invited along to broadcast it. So, I think it could be a good one. There's a lot of people in the race session itself. You're probably looking at 37, 36, I believe, here at the moment. So, it should be fun.
Should be, and I expect, based on YouTube chat at the moment, that a lot of you is putting Matt Malone.
Yes.
Who is on your screen at the moment. There he goes, to
Yes.
the top of the session at the moment. Of course, fighting for a championship this season. And at the moment, as far as we understand it, is on the top of it, and I think is going to be okay for winning the championship. But it's never over till it's over. And we've got plenty of previous champions of this series in here today as well. We should do, hopefully give you a little bit of background on each of the drivers who are in the Mustangs here today. Let's not forget about the other classes that they'll probably be negotiating at some point along the race. The Renault Clios, which is the most underrepresented of the four categories in this split. The Toyota GR86s, who are roughly represented the same as the Mazda MX-5s down at the bottom. So that's who they'll be negotiating. That makes it a very interesting series, and I've done this series in the past here, the Production Car Challenge, just to get my R rating up and get my license up from pretty poor places, as it has been in the past. And it's a good series to go in. It's a great interaction between these four classes. They're really low-level cars to really learn in, and you learn multi-class racing in these cars, especially the Mustang, which is the fastest of them. You learn how to be the fastest class in a series with the Mustang, that's for sure.
I think that's the thing with these series as well. It does teach you multi-class racing, right? It's that step up into what is effectively the big boys after. So, let's see what happens with this race. I think there's going to be a lot going on, and I think this could be a really, really interesting one.
It's if the last race as well is anything to go by, it's going to be a little bit chaotic too, but that's what we're here for. Here's Matt Malone though on the front row ahead of Scotty Banks. This is the starting grid, of course, for the final race in the Production Car Challenge with the Mustangs. Pedro Roberts and Pedro Maestri on the second row. It's Pedro Maestri, who Matt Malone is fighting for the championship with, by the way, in case you're not up to speed with that. Kevin Parrish is also up there in the top positions of the championship with Fabian Zoya in 6th in this race. Benjamin Kopzik is going to be in 7th, ahead of Dan Wareham. Nicholas Mukanos will be 9th ahead of Eric Ronenberg, with those outside the top 10 started by Braden Willington. Then it is Charlie Puer in the 12th position. Further down in the Renaults, it's James Holman who's taken pole there ahead of Dan Blake. Casey Knight is who we're going to be chatting to, by the way, after the race as a representative for the production car challenge is 15th, ahead of Donovan Schrum in 16th. Then you've got the Toyotas, Adam Blum and Elmar Salmon on the 9th row, ahead of Jeremy Fletcher and Tom Bland. Alex Crow and Jose Pum is going to be on the 11th row. Then it's Matthew Wyckoff and Daniel McConnell, followed by Jonathan Schottmeyer. Then finally the Mazdas. Adnan Grozdanic is in the pole position there, ahead of Luca Ani. Roman Pinto is in 28th, ahead of Gregory Maloney and Bob Van Es. It is going to be Andres Navarro, the first driver outside the top 30, ahead of Don Squirek. Ethan Cook and Oliver Piatek is at the next row, followed by Tito Torres, Danny Yesser and James Riggelt in the 37th position. A very full grid. As I was saying to you before the broadcast, James, I did this series a couple of years ago to get my hour rating a little bit, etc. And it did not have very many Mustangs. It didn't have very many people in it, to be honest. I don't know whether, so I wasn't racing at this time of day, but it's certainly been well represented. It's going to be sent off very well here by everybody as they make their way out of the pit lane for the formation lap in the final race.
Yeah, we've got 12. I think that's literally the most I've ever seen in a session of Mustangs. I've got to be honest. So I think word might have got out on the street that they are in for the final broadcast. So they've literally come out in full force. We've got 12 of them on the session. 4 Clios, 9 Toyotas, and of course the Mazdas at the back end where there's 12 of them as well. Should be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to this. I think if there's anything to go by on some of the races I've already done and had a look at earlier on, of course, this could be a very, very interesting race.
Let's talk about the challenge of this circuit as well, finally, because it is one of those old school circuits where you absolutely cannot make any mistakes whatsoever. And down at turn 11 and 12, of course, we no longer have the iconic oak tree, but we do have the same challenge of that section of corners, trying to brake just enough to not run off the road, but also extend the corner just wide enough so you can get the run onto the very important back straight. It's a very interesting circuit in that regard, and one that's going to be a huge challenge for everybody to just get to the end of, because mistakes are punished around here.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and there's not a lot of room, right? Let's be real. You've got to run down from the oak tree all the way down into the roller coaster in turn 13. Well, you'll be able to make a move, but you've got to be just mainly aware of the front of what's going on in and around you. It's going to be very difficult, especially if they start becoming into lap cars as well. Because if they come into lap cars in this situation, it's going to be even harder, because at certain parts of the circuit, especially around here, it's very hard to go too wide without one of you ending off down in the ravine down on the bottom. So you've got to make sure that you are picking your places really, really carefully, because otherwise it's going to be game over. And if it's game over before you've even got going, you know, you've only got 25 minutes, right? And if it's game over before you've even got 25 minutes up and running, well, you're not really going to enjoy it, are you? Let's be real about it. While you're sitting in the pit lane while everybody else goes whizzing past you.
Well, we're going to enjoy it, certainly, this final farewell to the Ford Mustang in the Production Car Challenge. As you say, the changes that are being made means that the outgoing BMW M4 GT4 that is being replaced by the Evo version of that car in its GT4 series is now going to this replace this class effectively, and the Ford Mustang will of course retain its own series, as we've already spoken about. However, it's not quite the same. We've got them in the Production Car Challenge for one final time, and I very much hope that you will enjoy it. A big welcome to everyone who is here, especially those who are on the JPB YouTube channel for the first time. A big welcome to you, and if you could lend us a subscription, lend me some teeth as well. Lend us a subscription, then we'd be very grateful indeed. Into the final few corners they go then. 25 minutes remaining in the Ford Mustang's life at the Production Car Challenge. It's time for a final send-off for this car as there go the poor Masters. They'll be overtaking a little bit later on. There is the pace car pulling in for one final time. It's up to Matt Malone to get this final race underway. It's the final race of the Ford Mustang in the Production Car Challenge. The green flag will be waving very shortly as Matt Malone gets the field underway from the front, fighting for a championship, of course, alongside those who are around him in the field. The green flag waves, 25 minutes on the clock for the production car challenge here at the Virginia International Raceway. And Matt Malone already having to defend a little bit from a dive down the inside. Let's hope all of the Mustangs get through cleanly on this opening run through turns 1 and 2 especially, and then into the rest of the first sector. Malone with a couple of car laps now over the rest of the field to try and sort themselves out. Single file they'll go into the first chicane and the first sector for the first time. All the Mustangs getting through those first 4 turns with no problems.
Yeah, the Clios have been away as far as well. James Holman literally sitting on the back of Charlie Puya in the Mustangs there once again. Adam Bloom in, as we just see Braden Willington go off the side of the circuit, and that is his car broke, as you can see the front left there hanging off. In the little MX-5s, it's Luke Annie out in front at this moment in time, leading the way there for the MX-5s. But unfortunately for Braden Wilmington, it is a game over for him. Casey Knight leading the Clios, is in there in 12th, about 3 places again, just chucked in behind Charlie Puya there, the last of the Mustangs. Matt Malone leading the way. Roberts in second, Banks in third, Kevin Parrish in fourth, and Pedro Amastri, who of course is fighting, I believe is fighting Matt for the championship. He is sitting in second place behind him. So a lot's gone on so far already in this race, and a lot more still to come as we're coming to the end of lap 1.
Yep, so in terms of that championship, Matt won the previous race to this one, and so that's given him a little bit of breathing space in the championship there, ahead of the likes of Pedro Maestri, Kevin Parrish, who's also in this race, not too far away, and Scott Banks as well. He's got a bit of breathing room over those guys, and certainly if he's in the lead of this race at the moment, he'll be feeling very comfortable about his position. In that previous race, by the way, there was about 4 or 5 of them fighting for the win until lap 9 when they collided and allowed Matt to just run away with what on paper will go down as a very comfortable victory. However, not so much when you actually watch the race, as they go into the end of the opening lap and into turn 1 again. On board with Benjamin Roberts here, applying the pressure to Matt Malone. A bit of early morning racing here for Benjamin Roberts. Looks like he's over in the oceanic part of the world, and applying that pressure at the moment. It wants a very close race at the front, actually, right now.
Yeah, Malone leading the way there, coming into the left hook, which is turn 4A, and of course we're going to go into 4B, 5A, 5B, and through the snake, should we just call it that, there as well. You can see on the left hand side the splits. Bloom leading the Toyota GR86s by 3 tenths, and he leading the MX-5s with Grozdanik right behind him. And of course we've got this battle here. Holman's got a 3.5 second lead in the Clios at the moment, so doing a great job leading the Clios. But the battle, of course, is up the front with the Mustangs, as they are literally 1 tenth back. We will have a look through the rest of the field as well. We'll just give these a couple of minutes to get themselves settled out, and before we start going in through the back of the GR86s and also the MX-5s that are very nose to toe.
But after all, it is all about the Mustangs, so we will be focusing here most of all, and I'm sure that's what you're here to see as well. So I'm sure you'll excuse us for going a little heavy on the Mustangs. Here we go then, down the back straight. Malone under pressure for the first time, I think, here really. Lap 1 was a pretty customary affair, but this time round, Roberts is going to apply the pressure on the way towards turn 15. Such an awkward braking zone up here as they go up the hill, and difficult to race side by side up there, but through goes Roberts. Sort of. Malone still alongside, and now finally through for Benjamin Roberts ahead of Matt Malone. Then there's Scotty Banks, who passed us a note, by the way, at the start of this race to say he's been in the top 4 of the Production Car Challenge in the last 9 consecutive seasons, but has never won the championship, and it doesn't look like that's going to change this time either. But remarkable consistency from him, and you can see exactly why. He sat there in 3rd place, waiting behind Matt Malone and Benjamin Roberts. Into towards the first corner again they go. Roberts defending a little bit, but it's a very long way round the outside here for Malone. If you can do this, I'll be impressed, and he just has to tuck back in again, and for the first time loses the lead, but he cuts back to the inside through 2. He's on the outside for 3 and 4. That's going to be a long way round as well.
Yeah, he's trying as best as he can here. He's crawling all over the back of Roberts at this moment in time. He's jinked in. He's tried to cut back a couple of times, and he's got to be careful because Banks is sat right in there. So as soon as he leaves that door open and gets caught on that outside with that just slight little overlap of Roberts, Banks is going to be straight alongside him. So Malone's got to be careful, because if he isn't, he could end up losing that place to Scotty Banks behind him once more. So he's just going to have to make sure that if whatever overtake he's going to try and do on Roberts, it's got to be decisive, because if it isn't decisive, Banks is going to pick up the pieces. Parrish probably could as well. And the last person he wants is Pedro Amastri, who's also sitting there in 5th place. He might be able to grab the positions away from him as well. So Malone's got to be careful. He has to be careful when trying to make an overtake, because if he leaves the door open, he's going to get robbed and he'll lose even more positions.
Yeah, Parrish certainly knows how to win this series, has done so on a couple of occasions, as well as the Mustang only series. That was a bit odd. I think that was Dan Wareham driving down the grass there on the back straight. But anyway, down the back straight they go with the leaders. Roberts still ahead of the field, but Malone in a similar situation to what Roberts was last time round, but not quite as close, because he doesn't go for the move on the way through turn 14 this time round and stays behind. We've got a very similar situation here in this race than we had in the last one. The top 6 all fighting over the win. Hopefully we don't see what we did last race though, and hopefully we don't get a big crash that takes out most of the field around halfway, 2/3 of the way through the race, as we did last time round. Over at the line at the end of lap 3, and Robert's still looking relatively comfortable in this lead, as comfortable as he can with 5 of them stacked up behind you.
Yeah, that's the thing for Roberts. He's got to be able to learn to keep his nerve now, right? Because at the end of the day, like that, he's left the door open. The only good thing is he's going to have the inside. If he can keep the car alongside, it's too wide. I promise you, Malone's on the left and Roberts is on the right. We know it's dark. I have upped it here, and now Roberts goes through and still manages to hold on. Malone's off. He's going to lose the inside, and this is what we said. When you're going to make an overtake, you've got to be decisive. He's going to have the inside for the next turn, though, so he might just get saved out by that. And Parrish, or Banks, sorry, has just lost that place to Parrish as well. So he's got to make sure that he's going to nail it, because now Banks has lost that place to Parrish, which was the problem in the first place. I do want to jump down into here in the GR86s. Fletcher and Bloom are having a right little ding-dong. At one point, they were side by side here, being pushed almost through. Oh, that's an off-track all day. But yeah, it is. There you go. Bloom moves over. So that's the end of that little ding-dong there as well. But they were having a great little fight. And down in the MX-5s, Luke Annie, of course, is still winning over Grozdanik, and it's opened up 2.75 seconds. So great little fights for them guys all the way through the field here. And currently at the moment, it's still Benjamin Roberts out in front.
And getting quite a lead as well over Matt Malone, and they've got to be careful in that group for second place that they don't fight too much. Otherwise, they will really allow Benjamin Roberts to get away with the lead of the race. We're about 1/3 of the way through. The previous race, by the way, an hour ago, only did, I say only, it's quite a lot, 13 laps around this circuit in the course of 25 minutes, so I'm expecting it to be the same here, although you never know. Case now for Malone to just try and pull in Roberts and get close to him again. 0.8 of a second. He's going to be helped by the draft, of course, but it won't do all the work for him. He'll have to close some of that gap himself, and he'll need some cooperation from those behind. Kevin Parrish is going to have to defend a little bit from Banks, and in the end doesn't need to properly, because they stay single file. But a more comfortable lead for Roberts this time round, but less of a battle for second over the line this time, which is good news for those who still want to win the race, which of course I'd imagine all of these top 6 or 7 do.
Yeah, and let's be real about it. You know, they all want to make sure they can get through. Malone, obviously, for his championship there as well. There is some information in YouTube chat. Matt needs to win the title, says Reiku78 there as well. So a bit of inside information.
I don't believe that. Is that true?
No, it can't be. Malone's far enough ahead in the championship, I think, as well. The last time I looked, what was he? He was 40 points, coming into 40 points ahead. So from Pedro Amastri. So he's only got to stay in front of Amastri, technically. That would be the way it works. I know their championship points is funny how they all work it out, so I don't try and go into too much maths, especially trying to work it out. So I'll let them figure it out. But as long as Malone's in front of Amastri, I'm going to presume he would win the championship here as well. But, whoa, there's somebody off on the side of the circuit. That is Eric Ronenberg going off the side of the grass there. I believe there might have been a slide that's caused that. But Kevin Parrish, Matt Malone and Benjamin Roberts still fighting out at the front. Scotty Banks and Pedro Amastri not too far behind. So the front 5 slowly breaking away here.
Well, Stephen Burns says unless Mestri wins, then Malone is the champion anyway, wherever he finishes. Well, which was true.
Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We'll of course talk about at the end of the race, hopefully, and he will tell us whether he's champion or not. The maths, as you say, is quite complicated with official iRacing series. Out over the line again then. End of lap 5, and Roberts is under a lot more pressure. Malone has done the work to close in the margin, and he's right there again. Back on the outside again, in towards turn number 1. Oh, is he late enough on the brakes? I don't think he was far enough alongside in the first place, to be honest. And he'll be sizing up a manoeuvre on another lap, although he's getting very close now on the way out of turn 2, in towards 3 and 4. He's just going to have to back off here. That's, difficult to overtake in some places around here at VIR, and turn 1 and turn 14 are your best bets. Outside of that, it can get very difficult indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing. He has got to be careful. He's back in that same situation he was in earlier on, right? You've got to be picking your positions, because Parrish is still behind you, Banks is behind you, and O'Mastery's only 7 tenths behind that. So he's got to make sure he can start any move he's going to get. He's got to try and finish. If he doesn't finish it, Parrish and Banks, they're not going to give it to him easily, right? They're going to make him work. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be Max Verstappen. Somebody's always going to want to beat you. Somebody's always going to want to race you. So for Malone, he's just got to make sure that it is his move. When he makes it, it's decisive. He can get the job done, and nobody can come through on him, because if he's on the outside of Roberts, it leaves the inside for Parrish and Banks to have a go. So he's got to be careful.
Certainly does, and here we go, down the straight again into turn 14. Roberts knows this is an important part of the race, just puts the Mustang in the middle of the road really, and Malone signaling to him, I'm not going to overtake you, I'll just bump draft you down in towards 14. So interesting tactics, I think, are going to start to rear their head now, because you get to the stage in the race where you decide where you want to be on the final lap and into the final 3 laps and stuff like that, and that's the kind of stage we're in right now. Just around halfway through here. This is the end of lap 6, expecting 13 laps again here, so we're nearly halfway, and Malone is in the awkward situation of wanting to attack, of course, and take the lead, but doesn't want to do what he nearly did last time, which is nearly lose second place when making the move. Here we go again though, on the outside at turn 1. This is his near unravelling on the previous attempt at overtaking, but he's further alongside this time. He's on the inside for the next part, which is the crucial difference to what we saw one time ago. He has got Paris alongside him, but Malone is on the inside line, which should prevail through turn 3 and 4, and it does again.
Yeah, Parrish trying to have a go there. He saw that Malone left the door open, and Parrish was trying to get alongside Malone to push him out, to use the Roberts in front to hold Malone in there so he could overtake him. And he was trying so hard, but he just couldn't quite get there. He's going to have to go once more here. You can see on the left-hand side, there's still a big lead for Annie in the MX-5s. There's still a big lead for Holman in the Clios. Fletcher's opened up 1.2, and the Mustangs are the ones obviously still fighting along here with these top 4 scrapping away nicely. Roberts, Malone, Parrish, Banks and O'Mastery not very far apart from each other at all. In fact, I can tell you now it is literally 1.2 seconds across the spread of the 5 cars. They're fighting along, they're coming down that back straight again, down that they go into the roller coaster. I can't see the move getting done this time, Ewan. I think he's going to have to wait till the next lap at least.
We are going to get a bit of traffic, by the way, at some point during this race. We've got a Toyota GR86 and a Mazda MX-5 off the back because of, I think, either incidents or damage or both. And so they will be lapped by these guys at this stage. This is the thing about this car around this circuit. It's quite a long circuit, so you don't see quite as much lappery as you do get around some of the others that they go to in the production car challenge. However, you will get some. If you have incidents as a Toyota, Renault or a Mazda, then you will be lapped by the Mustang, which is considerably faster. Malone looks up the inside on the way towards the start-finish straight there. If he could have got his nose alongside, then he would have been in the money, but he couldn't quite do it. Now he looks for another avenue down the inside. Can't do it again. Roberts defends on the inside line towards turn number 1. Late on the brakes, but he's given quite a lot of space on the inside there as Malone, and again, he's sort of banging his head against this brick wall here. He can't get through on Roberts on the outside towards turn 1. Don't know whether he's really trying to at the moment or whether he's just trying to defend his position into 3 and 4 from Parrish, but there you go. He is still second with 10 minutes to go and what should be 6 laps to go, including this one.
Yeah, he was trying so hard as well again, but again you saw Paris try and make that move and then Malone thought better of it. I will say one thing though, Malone nearly lost his nose there and Roberts nearly took it off quite happily because he tried to open him up and he come and covered him and Roberts covered him off, but he was very, very close to the front end of Malone's nose. So Malone is going to have to be a little bit careful about Roberts opening up steering on him and just coming across the side of the circuit. The GR86s have slowly come back together. Fletcher, Bland, Salmon and Bloom all within a couple of seconds of each other, and you can see Pedro Mastri just making a move alongside Scotty Banks, and they're running side by side, and that is a Toyota GR86. That is Daniel McConnell down the road.
Yeah, and now it's a fight for who gets the slipstream here. I think they're generally giving it to whoever's behind it, Adam Mastri and Banks, and over the rise in the road they go. Is Mastri going to have the legs to get through here? No, not quite. I think he really wanted to into Oak Tree there, but Banks got a very good run off of the corner. And that was a move that saw him stay ahead in the battle for 4th place. So if Mastri wants to rip this championship away, time's very much running out because Matt Malone is still 2nd. Mastri is only 5th as things stand. There's McConnell, and rather sensibly, he's staying out the way.
Yeah, well, I would. That's me. That's when I jump into the production car cup. That is me at the back. I would let them just go through. Just move over, make it as easy as possible. Job's a good one. So fair play to him there as well for McConnell getting out of the way. Easiest and probably the safest thing to do. Why you've got the likes of Roberts, Malone, Parrish, Banks, O'Mastry all coming at you full bore here, and it's just easier to remove yourself. We're going into 8 minutes. Again, Malone couldn't make the move. Again, we can see on the left-hand side, Fletcher's under pressure from Bland, Salmon and Bloom. So here's another one that's going to be coming under pressure towards the end of this race, I would have thought. And literally probably within the next 5 minutes, this battle's going to kick off as well as the front end. You can see the MX-5s are a little bit more quieter with Annie, Grozdanik, ES and Regallo there in 4th place. So great little battles. These 4 having a nice little scrap, but these 5, you haven't even in a bigger one.
Yep, and of course it is for the final time in the Ford Mustangs. A big welcome to all of you tuning in on the JPB YouTube channel, of course, to the final Production Car Challenge race containing a Ford Mustang. Very much hope you are enjoying the broadcast as they make their way out of Oak Tree now. And Parrish, I'm afraid, has not got a very good run off on corner. Banks now pulls alongside here. He's going to get the slipstream as well, and it looks like Banks is going to get through. Scotty Banks is going to be in 3rd here. Paris has made a very costly error as defending. Roberts goes on the defensive towards 13. Will Malone get through here? He's on the inside into the first part of the corner. They go wheel to wheel down the hill now into the final couple of corners, but no, they just get tied up with one another. Here comes Banks for both of them. Goodness me, that was a turn up for the books as Scotty Banks goes from 4th to 1st in the final sector of the lap. Goodness me. And now Roberts might well get freight trained. He's on the inside line here though. Malone stuck on the outside. Here comes Paris on the way towards the inside as well. This is phenomenal racing in the Mustangs. Down in towards turn 1 they go. On the outside for Malone, he's impossibly late on the brakes. Is he going to pull that up in time? Just about. And Roberts just about pulls it up as well. He's still side by side with Banks, who's still leading somehow after starting the previous lap in 4th position. What a remarkable turnaround for Scotty Banks, who's now leading this race.
That was absolutely mental. Banks made the opportunist move. He got the draft, he got the run, but look at Malone. He's just being pushed out at the moment. It looks like he's just getting bullied, and he's got to be careful here as well. Kevin Parrish was having a good old go at him. Pedro Mastri was having a go. Roberts tried to come back. Scotty Banks again, come on off the last corner. He was on the grass and he made the move stick. Absolutely amazing. And then, of course, they decided it'd be a good idea to give the comms booth a heart attack and take it 3 wide into turn 1. And that was just absolutely mental. So Scotty Banks out in front, Malone in 3rd, and he's going at Roberts again, but this time it ain't for the lead because Banks is in the front.
Unbelievable. Into Oak Tree they go. Malone's surely going to have a better run out of here this time round. He just slightly disadvantage Roberts on the way in there, and he's going to get a big slipstream, but it very much depends who's given the slipstream by Banks, who's sort of creating this battle or dictating it at the very least. Here goes Malone. Is he going to push Roberts here, or is it the time to make a move? It's the time for another move on the way towards 14. He's a lot further alongside this time, and he's through.
He's got it.
Matt Malone is recovering this very well indeed. He wants to win the final Production Car Challenge race for the Ford Mustang, and he's pretty well placed to do it. End of lap 10 is upcoming here, and there are 3 more remaining in the Ford Mustang for the Production Car Challenge. This is historic laps for everybody, but not least for these 5 who want to be the final ever race winner in a Ford Mustang in the Production Car Challenge.
Yeah, Scotty Banks at the moment for Team Volta's out in front. Malone's tucked in now. Malone's going to try and go around the outside. Is he going to have Roberts on his inside? There's a little MX-5 there. Excuse me. Stay where you are. Out the way he goes as well. No problem there. But Scotty Banks still holds on from Matt Malone.
He certainly does, but he'll be looking over his shoulder probably more than he's looking forwards at the moment, with the pressure that he's getting behind from all 4 of them. Matt Malone, Benjamin Roberts as well, of course, and then Parrish and Maestri are having their own fight for 4th and 5th position. There's a small gap in the group there, but they'll for sure want to get involved in this race-leading fight as well. Malone really close on the way towards the S's here. He stays behind though, makes it absolutely clear that he doesn't want to make an overtake on the way into him. Probably sensible, considering the speed of these corners. He's waiting for the back straight and his next opportunity to have a go.
Yeah, he can't go and make that move round there, because if he ends up on the outside of the left-hander here through South Bend, you're going to be down in that ravine there. You're going to literally be on the grass. These cars are too hard to try and tighten up. Once they start going out wide and understeering, well, they're going to continue to go out wide and understeering. One of you will be in the grass, so stay away from that area. Going to keep an eye on the right-hand side. What sort of speed do these cars get? Because I can tell you one thing, they might get 120, maybe, you know, a little bit higher. But boy, oh boy, does it feel like you're faster in there. Malone's having a go now. He's tucked in right behind Banks. Where's he going to go? He's not going to come in. He's not going to make the move. Can't get the move this time in through the roller coaster. He's going to have to go again as well. He's got to look for the run coming out of Hog Pen, which is the final corner here, Ewan. Try and get him down into turn 1. Or we could see a 3-wide situation again.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But,
no, I wouldn't
I'm not
either,
sure it's
to be
going to happen
honest.
again. It was... I was quite surprised it happened the first time, actually, but there you go. Round the final corner they go, and onto the front straight as well. Banks is again in the lead. I think Malone is maybe tactically staying behind him for the moment. He's looking at the outside again, but often does this. And, does break late. Still trying this move round the outside at turn 1. And will it finally pay off? It's just such a long, long way round, especially when you factor in the little kink in the road after the actual hairpin itself as well. And so through into the next couple of corners they go. Malone still second, ahead of Roberts, Paris, and also Maestri, who is in 5th position. In towards the end of the first sector they go. Malone will stay as close as he can to the back of Scotty Banks. Will he, though, go for this on the penultimate lap, or is he just waiting for the final lap? I'm beginning to think he's waiting for that last lap to strike.
I can tell you one thing, if he's going to pick him up and stick him in his pocket on the final lap, mate, he is a big, brave boy, because that is a risk it for the biscuit move, that one. I wouldn't want to be leaving it. I see people do this all the time, and I've seen multiple people in multiple series in multiple cars try and do the last lap, especially when you're at the likes of Road America, especially when you're at Road Atlanta, as Scotty Banks goes on the grass, manages to keep the car going forward. But I can tell you what, it hasn't always worked out for them. Kevin Parrish has now gone up the inside of Roberts. They're going to be side by side, a little bit of door banging with these 5 guys here as well. You can see Bloom has overtaken Fletcher in the GR86s, so we're going to pick up on that very, very shortly. But I want to see if Malone does make this move, or if he is going to wait. It's brave. It is brave, Mr. O'Leary, from waiting for that one.
That could give the front 2 the breathing space that they desired, as Parrish and Roberts go side by side into 14. Round the outside for Roberts, and it's going to be retaining 3rd place at least. Maestri tries to get involved as well, just to alongside on the way in towards the final corners. And there's going to be that battle that really continues over the start-finish line again, but on board we go with Matt Malone as he starts one last lap. There are enough seconds remaining for one final lap in the Ford Mustang for the production car challenge. It's side by side over the line. He can't leave it to a run to the line, otherwise I think he will lose. Round the outside he goes into turn one. He's later on the brakes this time. He's braver on the brakes this time, and he might just have got his man finally on the way through the first couple of corners. He's on the inside for 3 and 4, which so often prevails. And Matt Malone, I think, has got the place as he. Scotty Banks round the outside. They remain side by side into the rest of the first sector. This is astonishing stuff between the two of them. Banks on the inside for the next two. Will Malone hold it round the outside here in towards the next chicanes? He certainly will. They remain side by side. They door bang again. And Roberts is going to close on both of them as a result of this, surely. He's not going to make it free wide for a second time, are we? As they door bang again on the way towards the S's. An astonishing final lap. Up the hill they go. Malone round the outside through the next right-hander. He'll have the inside for the all-important left. And I think he's finally through, is he?
No, he's not.
Banks goes round the outside. This is astonishing. The final lap of the Ford Mustang in the production car challenge is an absolute barnstormer. Out of Oak Tree they go one final time. Malone is going to have to lay it all on the line here. He's given it his very best go at overtaking in towards turn number 1. It's going to have to all come down to turn 14 now. He's on the slipstream now, on the power, trying to get up to the outside line on the way towards turn 14. Banks is going to have to defend as if his life depends on it here. Round the outside he'll go. Malone has to brake super late here on the inside line. Banks has to squeeze him, and he has. Scotty Banks might well have this into the final couple of corners unless Malone wants to have a dive down the inside. Not quite. It's going to have to be the run to the line if Scotty Banks is going to win this. What a final race in the Ford Mustang as they run themselves up towards the line. It looks like Scotty Banks is going to be the final Ford Mustang race winner in the production car challenge. What a finale that was.
It was absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to pick up on Fletcher and Bloom because they're on their final run as well. Down the long back straight here in these GR86s. They've been swapping backwards and forwards. You can see Fletcher's in the front. Bloom is pushing him along here, going down this back straight. He's going to look for the maneuver on the inside. He's going to try and hold the inside line as they're going to come up side by side over the hill here. Fletcher there in his first, well, second place now. Bloom's alongside him. Through the roller coaster they go. These guys are finishing off side by side as well. It's all going all the way through here. Now through the left-hander. Fletcher's going to have it. He's going to drop down the even left here. Now through the final hog pen as well. I think Fletcher's going to get him. Bloom's going to try to run down to the line here, but I don't think he's going to have enough on him. It is going to be Fletcher's going to take the win in the GR86s. An absolutely great win there as well. We've got Grosdanik and Luke Annie also as well, but it is Fletcher in the GR86s, and here you can see Grosdanik and Annie are going to be side by side down to the line. I think the line's all the way down the end here. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Grosdanik. Oh!
Dear me, that was closer than I thought it was going to be. Goodness me. Grosdanik getting to the finish line first, just about.
I feel like I've had a heart attack.
Thousandths of a second.
Absolutely.
But, amazing final race, 25 minutes of pure. I mean, what about that final lap between Banks and Malone especially? I don't think I've seen two cars go side by side through the entirety of the first 2/3 of VIR. That's something I really have never seen before.
No, I think at the end of the day, to be fair, we didn't think they would be able to get through side by side. We discussed it at the beginning. Side by side racing is just not going to work here. So they want to make sure they are going to be really, really careful. And these guys have done a great job. And Banks and Malone going full bore there, as you just see Malone go off in the background there. Lucky enough, he manages to hold on. But I think the fact that they've managed to go this lap alongside each other is just absolutely amazing. And then, of course, to top that off, we had them going over the line. Then we had Fletcher and Bloom that were going over the line. Then we had Grosdanik and Annie going over the line literally in a shorter time than the guys up front. So they did an absolutely amazing job. And I think that's the way to send them off. If you're going to send them off with some great racing like that, because it has been absolutely amazing.
And here's your picture The donuts are about to begin on the front straight. I believe all of the Mustangs are going to give this a go. This could get messy. We'll try and find a good camera angle for this one.
Yeah, I'm going with that one. I'm going to get rid of the tower.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
There's your photograph as the looks like someone's just turning the light switch off and on again, doesn't it? They're all going all over the place, the headlights and the donuts or whatever. But there's your picture. The Ford Mustang sent off in the production car challenge will of course remain in its own single make series, but it's being replaced after many years in the production car challenge after next season. That was the very final top split race, and it was won by Scotty Banks. 1/10.5 ahead of Matt Malone. Benjamin Roberts finished third ahead of Kevin Paris and Pedro Mestre. They were all involved in that leading fight. Nicholas Mukanos finished in sixth ahead of Fabio Zuer with Dan Wareham. Eric Ronenberg and Benjamin Kopti, the final drivers in the top 10. Charlie Puyo was also in the fray, 11th for him. James Holman was the winner in the Renaults. Jeremy Fletcher just beat Adam Bloom to the line in the Toyotas, and Adnan Grozdanic beat Luca Rani to the line by just 33 thousandths of a second in the Mazdas. There are the rest of your finishers, all 37 of them, 34 of which got to the finish. And I'm glad to report 12 Mustangs all got to the finish. Even Braden Wilmington, who had a very big crash on the opening lap of the race, got involved, and he still managed to finish the race. As the Renaults and the Mazdas, and oh dear, this turned into a bit of a demolition derby.
A bit of a bag of cars going on there now, I think, on that one.
Well, they don't need these cars again, so, you know, just trash them.
Yeah, I suppose on that side of things. They don't. But listen, I tell you what, while they're doing this, I'm going to have a chat with Casey Knight, who's going to come and join us. Of course, Casey is the series rep for the Production Car Cup and will be for the Production Car Cup and the Mustangs next season as well. So, Casey, welcome in. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I'm trying to hold back some tears, but yeah, doing great.
All right, so you finished. Let's start off with your own race first, and then we'll talk about the series. Finished second in the class in the little Clios. How was it out there? Because it looked quite manic from what we saw.
It was good. The start was really good. I would say that, and then there was a little oopsie in front of me, and I took a opportunistic move, a little bit lawnmower move, but yeah, went up to first. Then I pulled a classic oopsie, and then dropped back to second, and then I just enjoyed this wonderful Mazda fight we had in front of us, and just the banter.
Absolutely. Tell us what it's like for you as a series rep here. You know, when you've got all of these cars, you've got the Mustangs doing donuts, we've got some Clios trying to do a donut. What does that sense of feeling, what does that sense of community give you? Because obviously you're the series rep, right? And if some of you don't know, if you want to give us a quick sort of rundown of what you do within iRacing and the Mustangs and the Production Car Cup.
Well, I would say it's a combination of two worlds. At the end of a race, when everyone's doing donuts, driving backwards, having a great time, and, you know, laughing, it just brings the biggest smile on my face, because I'm trying to make the best series and schedule for 4 cars at the same time, and not just focusing on one in particular. It's also the reason why I heavily rely on Red Bull in the morning. It is a really hard task, but it is always fun to see all this happen and everybody come together.
Yeah, how long have you been doing the series repping for?
This is my 1-year anniversary, actually.
Nice. So we're going to see you back doing it again next season?
Yes, and it's going to be better because it's going to be wetter.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Now, we did talk about being in the dark, Casey. Are we going to see afternoon dark races again?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I traditionally always ended it. I always started the season at sunrise, and I always ended it at sunset. iRacing took that literally and started the race at sunset today.
Right, okay, well, listen, it's been great talking to you as well. Casey, is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Well, I got to shout out you guys, y'all for putting on this broadcast, Steven for entrusting me with the series. I took over, that was the former rep. And also Matt Malone for, you know, growing the Mustang community with his AMS streams, the AMS community as well for keeping the Mustang alive. I'm sad to see it go, and iRacing for just allowing the series to live on for a long time. And yeah, everything everyone does just to keep just to keep everything alive and well, and just have a great time.
Awesome stuff. Well, Casey, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to maybe having a chat before next season starts.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get. Well, hopefully, we could get something together in one or both series.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out and we can set up a voice call and we'll have a chat about it. But Casey, for now, I'll catch up with you soon.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great night.
And you take care. Well, there you go. That was Casey Knight, who is the series rep for the Mustangs and the Production Car Cups. But now, Mr. O'Leary, you're in for a treat as we brought in the man that finished in second place here, Mr. Matt Malone. Over to you.
Yeah, well, welcome in, Matt. Good to have you with us. Sorry for interrupting slightly, but thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the race first of all. It's in its isolation. I mean, what a fantastic final lap! What a great spectacle it was for us. How did you find those final 25 minutes in the Mustang?
Yeah, I am. I'm still sweating a little bit, but what an absolute great race to send it off. One of the best tracks in all of iRacing, one of the best cars in all of iRacing, and some of the best drivers in all of iRacing. I've come to know these guys through driving this car and elsewhere on the sim, and I couldn't have scripted it in any other way. I mean, in an alternate universe, maybe choose your own adventure script, I would have won, but I won the championship. That's okay by me, and to be able to battle with Scotty. We've been battling all season long. On the last lap, and we didn't wreck. It was absolutely unbelievable. Perfect send-off. I'm just so happy that it all went well. And I'm so glad that you guys broadcasted it to really, permanently just keep the Mustang alive in digital form out there. I'm not crying. You're crying.
I suspect a few people will be tonight. Just tell us a little bit about this car and this community over the last few years, because it has not been the sort of the car that everyone reaches for first when they pick up iRacing. But you've done so much to promote this car and promote the great racing that we can get in it, and we've seen some of that here tonight. Indeed, how does it feel now to you that it's out of the Production Car Challenge, and we've finally brought this story to a close in so I know it has its own series, but it is no longer in this series. How does that make you feel at the end of this final race?
Well, it is kind of bittersweet. We do still have the Mustang Challenge series that we do like an SOF race every Monday. But listen, this car, and I understand it, this car is not for everyone. It's heavy. It's like driving a boat. It's got a lot of body roll. I understand why rookies or D-class drivers just kind of skip it on their way to GT4, GT3. But man, if you give it a chance and you really feel this car, it is just so much fun. And then help with Randall McGrew. He started a league called American Muscle Series. And that is kind of where, if you love the Mustang, that's the place to be, is the American Muscle Series, because we drive this car with like 60 car field, and it's really, this car ain't going anywhere as far as I'm concerned. It may be leaving PCC, but it'll definitely always have a place in our hearts. But I understand why it's not popular in iRacing, but I also feel like they should make it free, and if people just gave it a chance, I think they would fall in love with it. But look, it's going to be past news. It's going to be legacy. We'll get the dark horse eventually, and we'll fall in love with that. And so yeah, I'm excited for the future, but I also have a lot of fond memories in the past. And I'll still be racing this damn thing like every week, so it ain't going anywhere. But yeah, the Production Car Challenge is going to have a different feel to it for sure next season.
That much is certain. Is there anyone you'd like to thank, Matt, or anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Hey, shout out to the community. If it wasn't for the community, none of this would be possible. So, and Scotty, congrats, dude. And just everybody, Pedro, all the top guys, Kevin. There's too many to list. You guys are amazing. And listen, if you want to drive the Mustang as good as Scotty or a Kevin Parrish or a Pedro or even me, you got to get some Ace-Tech gear. It's high-quality sim racing equipment. It's the equipment you deserve, okay? Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Get your plug in there, Matt, as well. Love it.
I got it.
Congratulations. Thanks very much
Thank you.
for giving us some excitement to send the Mustang off with, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Is Matt Malone there, second place in tonight's race, just behind Scotty Banks, who's just dropped himself into waiting for interview. So we'll bring him up. Scotty, welcome in. Good to have you with us as well.
Hello.
You've won the final race in the Ford Mustang in the Production Car Challenge. How does that sound to you?
Man, that was pretty awesome. That was a heck of a race. I am sweaty. I'm exhausted. But that was fun. That was a ton of fun. I was playing sad music on the formation lap, and then someone in my chat said that it was awesome to see me and Malone side by side here, and that was pretty cool because the whole reason I started racing this car was because of him, and we have had some insane races over the last several years, and so it was pretty cool to not only start on the front row with him and then have that battle and finish 1-2 to end this off. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think I breathed those last 2 laps.
I bet, yeah. It was so exciting to watch. I've got to say, the move you made on one lap from 4th to 1st in one fell swoop was quite spectacular. I've got to say, but there we go. I mean, in terms of this car overall and this series overall, just how much fun has it been over the years to drive this car in this series? And I know you, or I'm going to guess you'll continue to drive this car anyway, just in different series and with Matt, I'm sure, and plenty of others as well. But,
oh yeah.
How does it feel to send this car off from this series now that it's all said and done and there's no more races for this car in the Production Car Challenge?
Yeah, it'd be sad to see it go. It's been a lot of fun trying to wheel this pig around so many of these tracks that aren't. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world to drive, but it is quite the challenge. And regardless of if I finished 1st or 8th there, the battle that we had was totally worth it. And the 2 races before this as well, the group of guys that showed up, it was super clean. We all could trust each other, so we were beating and banging lap after lap. And yeah, like that 4th to 1st there in 3 corners or whatever that was, that kind of took me by surprise because I was just hoping Kevin was going to let me in so we wouldn't lose too much time. And suddenly Matt and Ben are sliding around, and I just saw a hole and went for it. Why not? I don't think I can win this championship, but if I could, I had to win the race. So I just went for it.
You might have an outside chance, but you certainly retain your record of top 4s in a row, which is quite an astonishing
I see you saw my
statistic.
stat there, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say you gave us a statistic. Was this the 9th, or have you done 9 before? This is the 10th.
This was the 9th. I skipped one when I moved and I wasn't able to race, and then the very first one I only did about half the season, so it was 9 straight full seasons, but with one in between.
Okay, yeah,
So,
okay, I understand.
yeah.
Pretty good record, I'll say.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank? Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Honestly, more than anyone, just Matt Malone. Man, I started watching him years and years before I even got into iRacing, and the last 3.5 years racing this. I started racing this because of him, and when the American Muscle series started, and this alone has been completely worth my entire subscription. All of it. If I could just race the Mustang and PCC, I would be happy, because the guys that run this, it is like a league, because there's so few people that race it. We show up week after week and have some of the best racing that I've ever had in any sim racing.
So it's the worst cars to drive that produce the best racing, I find.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
And thank
There's
you
a
guys
lesson
for
everyone.
broadcasting this. Really appreciate
No,
that. Can't wait to go back and watch it.
Thanks very much for providing us for some entertainment to be excited about over the course of the broadcast. That's certainly what we've seen tonight. Scotty, thanks for coming to have a chat with us as well, and hopefully we'll see you again in something else soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Scotty Banks, the race winner tonight in the Production Car Challenge, the final ever for the Ford Mustang. Well, a big thanks to everyone who's tuned in as well. The night has fallen on the Ford Mustang in the Production Car Challenge, but what a send-off we've given it. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you're new to the JPB YouTube channel, of course, then lend us your subscription. We'd be very thankful for it. Plenty of other racing going on over the course of the week that you can enjoy as well. So hope that we can see you in one of those broadcasts as well soon. Final thoughts from you, James, as we send off the Mustang. I mean, in isolation, what a great race, first of all.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And there was battles all the way through. It wasn't just the Mustangs. You know, we had the front four in the 86s. We had the Mazdas going for it as well. We had a brief little battle in the Clios before Holman just kind of ran away with it in there as well. So it was all the way through the field. But obviously where it was the final flurry almost for the Mustangs and the PCC, it was kind of a very Mustang-focused race, but they did such a good job, and Scotty Banks and Matt side by side for the majority of the last lap was just absolutely incredible. And of course, why we're here, I'm going to give a shout out to Grozdanik and Luke Annie, who come across the line literally nose to tail in the MX-5s. Just absolutely amazing racing all the way through. You know, just hope everybody at home's enjoyed it, and it's been a great evening of racing so far.
Certainly has. So that is just about it for us tonight. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt, and as I say, this is the JPB channel once again. We'll be back again, I'm sure, tomorrow with more racing, and the day after that, and so on. So I hope that we will see you again there. But this has been the final farewell to the Ford Mustang in the Production Car Challenge. Until we see you next time, it's goodbye for now.